So, I'm sure a lot of you are aware that Gypsy-rose Blanchard recently went on to Andrea Dunlop's, however you say it, podcast. Not only do I think that Gypsy-rose Blanchard did it for very strategic reasons and inauthentic reasons, I'm going to explain why in just a second, but let me tell you a little bit about Andrea first. Andrea is the host of a podcast called Nobody Should Believe Me, which looks at cases involving MPB and medical child abuse. She's been featured in stuff like Vanity Fair and other media outlets, and also a published author. Many people see her as credible because she has focused on this topic for years and regularly speaks with professionals and experts in this field. So now that you know a little bit about Andrea and her podcast and her history, I want y'all to know that Gypsy is actually the one that reached out to her, not once through Lifetime, but twice just now to be on Andrea's podcast. Now, I'll tell you why in just a moment, but I'm going to let you hear this little snippet of the podcast that she was just on.
I'm really happy that you reached out. So we originally actually met each other because your producers of your Lifetime series reached out to me and taped a conversation where you asked me some questions. So I was really happy to connect with you in that context. That was when your baby was brand new. I remember seeing her on the screen there. And then you reached out to me more recently. A lot of people asked me about interviewing you. And I said to folks who asked me that question at the time, I'd be much more interested in talking to her a couple of years from now.
Here is why I think that Gypsy-rose may have reached out multiple times. Because appearing on Andrea's podcast could quickly boost her credibility in the MPB and true crime communities, Andrea is respected and has a sympathetic audience, so Gypsy's story would be framed in a way that benefits her public image. Reaching out repeatedly could also be an attempt to control the narrative before skeptics or alternative perspectives gain traction in the media. Timing matters too. Persistence signals she wanted the first post-prison media spotlight to go on her terms in a safe, non-confrontational environment where difficult questions might be minimized. And finally, Andrea's influence in the MPB space appearing on her show could amplify her reach among advocates, journalists, and potential supporters, which can be strategically valuable for shaping long-term public perception. Does that not sound like Gypsy-rose and exactly like something she would do? Because it sure does to me. And if that's not what she was doing, then I don't know what else she could have been doing, reaching out to Andrea that many times, because we all know that Gypsy-rose was not abused. So what could they have in common except for Gypsy maybe a role playing that she went through MPB? What do y'all think?